Hello and welcome to Caregivers Community. I am DDL Gray. I am your host of this channel, and I'd like to introduce a little bit about myself before we get into talking about why caregivers, especially family caregivers, need support systems and need support groups. I've been basically a caregiver, say, all my life. I loved babysitting and everything like that, but I really became a full-time caregiver when my mom was diagnosed about almost now 3 years, when she was diagnosed with cancer. And that became my primary focus. I am her full-time family caregiver in Ontario. They don't really have a program where they can pay family members to take care of other family members, but we won't get into that. I just want to give you a little bit of my history because I want you to know that I have experienced these things firsthand. That's why I'm giving the information to you to possibly help you. So with that, I would like to go into the topic of why family caregivers need support groups. Now, as a family caregiver myself, I think they're really important to have a support group in place, especially when you don't have much of a support system. And even if you do have a support system, family caregivers support groups are really important because you can talk to somebody who is going through the same experience that you're going through. And there's different kinds of family support groups. There are support groups for cancer patients, there's Alzheimer's, there's all kinds of support groups that you can join. It's just really important for your mental health to have other people to lean on that actually do know what you're going through, because the process, whether it's short or long process, the caregivers group is just somebody else, somebody or a group of people that can turn around and tell you, you're not alone in this, you're doing great, keep going. This is what I do for my mental health. This is the resources that you can help with. I've been there. These are certain resources that I can turn to when they can give you lots of information that you never knew that you needed. They can give you information that you never knew that you were even looking for. It just helps that other people are going through the stuff, because sometimes being a caregiver, or even being like the patient, it becomes very, it's a lonely place sometimes, depending on how much support you do have within your family and depending on how much support you don't have in your family. Being a caregiver is a lot of work. Like I've mentioned in other videos before, caregiving leads to burnout. You need a lot of self-care. It is not an easy job. It's a really rewarding one though. But you need a community that you can turn to, because like anybody else, like being a mother or a parent, you need communities that you can turn to support you and what you are doing, because you need not only the validation, but you need somebody to turn around and say, I know what you're going through, so you do feel less alone. And support groups are great for that, and usually you can find them in libraries. You can find things on like boards. You can find them in hospitals, depending on if you're going to a hospital. So usually they have signs up that say this support group is for this. You can talk to a social worker or even your doctor about where to find caregiver specialties in the certain area that you're taking care of that loved one. You can also find them by Googling them in your local area, just like everything else. You can, when you Google something, you can find them. You can usually find, if you type in your area and where to find that certain support group. And it's really simple. You can either email them or call them to ask if there are any spots available, if they have room for you to join the support group. They usually go through a list of questions and just your background history, just so they know what you're going through and how they can help you. It's not really like a background check, so don't worry. It's a background of your history, so they can turn around and they can say, okay, we can place you in this group because this is a little bit more helpful, or thank you for telling me this information. So I know what to expect when you are talking or sharing with the group. They usually want you to, if you feel comfortable, you can share on the first day. Sometimes people don't feel comfortable enough. They're not going to pressure you. This is a safe place where you can go, where you can vent, where you can feel heard and seen and feel appreciated. And also, it's a really good reminder too. They remind you a lot to take care of yourself, which I find is amazing. And usually the support groups are either like once a month or twice a month. I know for me it's twice a month or once a month that I see my support group, and it's good for your mental health, because like sometimes you feel so alone, and that you want to be this perfect caregiver because you don't want to do anything wrong. Sometimes some people are like that, and you're trying to be so careful that sometimes you need somewhere to talk, you need somewhere to vent, and you need somewhere to just express your emotions. And sometimes it's sadness, sometimes it's excitement, sometimes it's anger, but you need a place to express those feelings, and it needs to be a safe place. And caregiving groups are a safe place for all caregivers. And I really appreciate the one that I'm in. I deal with there's a host that I meet with and I email with sometimes, and she emails just to let us know when the certain date of the caregivers group is going to take place. And sometimes I email her back just saying, thank you, I appreciate you, this is the best support group that I've ever been in, because it's true. And they just make you feel like more of a community. And I think the issue is with the world today is that we don't have that community anymore. So when we do join a support group of any kind, whether it's a grief support group or a family caregiver support group or a mental health support group, we feel that community. And I think that's what everybody craves, because of course we crave human contact, and we crave that human connection. So when you are in the caregivers group, you feel more seen, you feel less alone. You even feel like you can actually confide in people, and it is a great place for resources. You have somebody that you can talk to that will tell you, I've done this and I've done that, and you should have this support caregivers group, or you should have somebody come in that helps you, gives you a break, another caregiver, a professional caregiver to come in and help you and give you breaks. Or I know this resource for a social worker, just certain things. I mean, I love going to my support groups because I feel relieved afterwards, and I feel seen and heard and respected. And it's a great reminder to constantly be aware to take care of yourself. And part of taking care of yourself is joining support groups. You need to join them just because being a caregiver is not an easy job for either you or the patient. Like, nobody wants to have a terminal illness. And I mean, the unconditional love that you share for that person and that person shares for you, it's just, sometimes it's overbearing and it's a lot. But it's a good thing, but it's just a difficult road to go through no matter what path you're on. I mean, we're all caregivers, so it's never going to be really an easy path for anybody. Nobody's perfect at it, but we all expect ourselves to know everything about being a caregiver. And that's not the case. It's just like being a parent. You don't know what's right or wrong. You're just trying to do the best that you can. And being part of a support group, you feel less like you need to be perfect because you're hearing other people's stories. Now, when I get off of a call, usually with my support groups, I'm either like crying for other people's stories, or crying because like I relate to something, or just crying because a certain thing happened and I wanted to express it, whether it's a good or a bad thing. I usually end up crying because I just I'm an emotional person. I feel a lot. I'm a sensitive person to begin with, so I feel a lot of things. And when I do share with somebody, I usually end up in tears. But it's a good thing because it's a form of self-care, crying. So I just look at it like this is something that my body needs to do. Is my body's telling me to do this, and I respect it. But like the truth is that we all need human connection, whether you're a support group or whether you're whether you're a caregiver or not. You need a support group to go to. You need to have community around you, because we are all human. We need that connection. We need to feel connected to something and other people. That's just the way that we're built. And I find that caregiver groups are one place where I really like to be, because I feel less alone in my world. Because I do know in my mind that there are other people in this world that are going through this. This is why I created this channel to begin with, is because I know that other people are out there in the world that need more community, and especially caregivers. But when you do join a caregivers group, you do feel less alone, because you're not so wrapped up in your own head and in your own brain, and you're not thinking, oh, I'm so alone in this, because we're not. We're not really alone in this. There are other people going through the same thing as us, and it's just a reminder. And I like that it's a reminder, for me anyways, going to a support group and having that reminder of, you are not alone. There's other people going through this, because I tend to forget that there are other people going through this too. It's not like I don't know. It's just that I feel sometimes when I feel so alone, I forget that there are other people going through this too. And it's just a great reminder, and it's a great thing for your mental health. And it's a great thing just for you in general, because there's so much love and support in support groups, and so much care and so much kindness, because we're all going through the same thing, regardless of what somebody's diagnosed with. Like, it could be a completely different cancer. It doesn't matter. We're all going, at the end of the day, we're all feeling the same thing every single day and every single night and every single time. And we're just trying to get through it, and we're just trying to do the best that we can. And we're just hoping and praying that our family members make it through their illness and make it past that time, because and make it out alive. And that's what we're all just rooting for, is that our family members either make it out alive or transition in a way that it feels more comfortable and safe to them and loved, knowing that in the other transitional way. But really, our main goal is that we want our family members to survive, because we do love them, and we want them to be survivors out of this awful journey that takes such a toll on their bodies and their minds and their health. And that's why we do what we do as caregivers, is because we love the person and we want them to live. So that's why you need to join caregivers groups, because they are the best resource that you could possibly get. They remind you to take care of yourself. You feel a sense of community, and you never ever feel alone. And that's the best part of having a caregivers group, is that when you forget that you're alone in this, you're not alone in this. There's always somebody else that's going through the same thing or even worse than you are. So it reminds you to be grateful that you are where you're at, and that there are other people going through something similar or even worse than you. But at the end of the day, we're all human. We're all hoping that our family members survive this, and that there is a way out of this in the best way possible, and that no matter what, there will always be love and support regardless of everything else. Is that we have to remind ourselves that the reason why we are caregivers is because we're doing this from a place of love and support. And that's what caregiver groups remind me to do every single time I see them. I go back to the reason why I'm doing it in the first place, is support and love. So that is my video for today, and just subscribe, like, comment. I really appreciate the comments that do come through. If anybody has a video that they would like me to post, please comment in the video below, or any of my other videos, letting me know what kind of videos you want me to talk about, because I do know that there are other experiences that everybody is going through, and I want to hear from every single person about their experience, because we are not alone in this. And I really appreciate everybody for watching, anyone who comes across my video and watches my video, and I appreciate the likes, I appreciate the subscriptions, I appreciate it all. So until next time, thank you so much for watching Caregivers Community, and I will see you again next week. Bye for now.